Yeah, this is your turn to read this script. Our speaker? Tonight it is Mr. John Wilson, who has just returned from traveling in South America. Mr. Wilson spent his trip photographing scenes, small town life across continent, and his work is well known around the world. And his photography has been featured in numerous newspapers and magazines and books. Tonight he will share with us photographs and stories from a recent trip, and will answer any questions you may have. Due to the time constraints, we ask you to hold your questions until the end of the talk. All right. What is the destination of Mr. John Wilson's travel?
South America.
Is it? Okay. Then don't say that, and I want you to fully answer with a complete sentence. Right? The destination
of Mr. John Wilson
of his travel was South America. Okay. Or you might say he has just returned from South America. Okay. Always you need to think about the possible answers by rephrasing the previous answer. Okay, rephrasing means you need to change the form of the sentence. You need to change the words used in the sentence. You understand? So rephrase, paraphrase. Rephrase and paraphrase. All right, what was the destination of Mr. John Wilson's travel?
The destination of his travel was South America.
Okay, or?
He has
just returned from South America. So among those two possible answers, which of those answers you think is more likely to be spoken by a native English speaker? Which of those two possible answers do you think is likely to be spoken by a native English speaker? A, the destination of his travel was South America. B, he has just returned from South America. No, B is more likely to be spoken by a native English speaker. All right? Okay? So when I ask you these questions, what was the destination of Mr. John Wilson's travel?
He has just returned from South America.
Yeah, he has just returned from South America. Okay? Let's say your teacher, David, I was in Japan, okay, last week, okay? And what was the destination of my trip, my travel? Let's just say I was in Japan last week, okay? And I'm here in Korea at this place having this short conversation with you. So when I ask you this question, what was the destination of my trip? Yeah, you answer. You have just returned from Japan. You understand? Just returned. 방금 들어왔다. He has just returned. He has just returned from 뭐뭐로부터 방금 귀국했다. 방금 들어왔다. Okay? 그러니까 그의 여행의 목적지는 남아공이다. 그는 남아공에서 방금 들어왔다. 그 말은 거기가 여행의 목적지였던 거죠. 그게 선생님이 지금 뭐라고 그랬니? 영어로 말할 때 항상 rephrase 문장을 다시 말하거나 paraphrase 하거든. 그 꼭 신경 쓰라고 영어는. 그러니까 이게 이렇게 하는 게 원어민 이렇게 하잖아. 항상 rephrase, paraphrase 하는 거야. 다른 표현을 하는 거지. 고쳐 말하기. 고쳐 말하기, 다시 말하기. 이게 원어민들의 습성이야. 그러니까 네가 그걸 간파해야 된다고. 무슨 말이겠지? Question number 2. What was he doing while traveling in this region? What does it mean, region?
지역.
That's right. And then you answer.
He was photographing scenes of small town life across the continent while traveling.
Okay, so he was photographing. Okay, scenes. Okay, of
small town.
local towns. How about that? This is also kind of rephrasing strategy. Okay, so he was photographing scenes of local towns. Okay, scenes of local town. Okay, and you can say, or he was basically taking photos. Okay, taking photos of local, taking photos of various sins. Sins of the local town he was visiting. 훨씬 길지만 그렇게 말할 수도 있다. There's only possible alternative, like alternative, 대안. 자, 읽어볼까? What was he doing while traveling in the region?
He was photographing scenes of local town.
Or was basically taking photos of the various scenes of the local town. Okay, or local towns. 그가 방문하고 있었던 지역, 그 지역의 마을에 여러 장면들을 사진으로 담고 있었다. 기본적으로, basically 주로란 말이죠. 주로 그가 했던 행위에 대해서 이렇게 하는 basically. 선생님이 자주 쓰는 영어 표현이기도 하고. And then question 3. What is his occupations according to the reading passage and what makes you think so? 질문을 잘 해야 돼. 그의 직업이 뭐냐? 그의 reading passage 따르면. 그리고 what makes you think so? 무엇이 너로 하여금 그렇게 생각하게 만드냐? 그 근거가 뭐냐는 거죠. 그러면 어떻게 해? The article says the article는 이거 뭐죠? 이건 the reading passage죠. 이 글을 있죠. Reading passage says that his
occupation.
No. His photography 사진술 이거는 photography는 사진술이라 그냥 사진 작품이라고 생각하면 돼. 근데 이게 명사라면 다른 이제 그 사진으로 하면 photograph 쓰잖아. 그래 이 photograph 그의 사진 전체를 얘기하는 거야. 그의 사진술, 사진 행위, 그의 사진 행위 그 어땠다고 has been or was been was featured has been featured by different publishers. 자, publish가 뭐야? 출판업자들. 이게 잡지고 신문이고 어쨌든 다 출판이잖아. 그렇게 퉁쳐가지고 얘기해도 돼. 그럼 여기서 동사로 feature가 뜻이 뭐야? 특집으로 다루다란 말이야. 그래 뭐야? 그의 사진은 특집으로 다뤄져왔다. 많은 다른 어떻게 출판업자들에게 출판하는 업자들에게 여기 지금 출판하는 업이라는 거 뭐라고 할까 여기서 신문사, 잡지, 책이잖아. 퉁쳐서 걔네들은 뭐라고 그래? 출판업자가 되겠죠. 여기니? 어? 이게 좀 어제하고 좀 수준이 좀 다른 거긴 하지만 그러면서 뭐라고? Who are his clients? What is a client? 고객이란 말이야. 그의 고객은 newspapers, magazines, and books are 그러니까 book publisher겠죠. 그냥 books가 아니잖아. 책의 특집으로 됐다는 것은 그 책을 만드는 사람을 언급해야 될 거 아니야. book publisher, 출판업자. book publisher are his clients. 이해되니?
네.
예, client라는 단어를 이해해야 되겠죠. 그 다음에 what is the request is made by the speaker. 마지막에 뭐라고 했니? 읽어볼까? Due to
Due to
time constraint. 이 제약 요건, 제약 요소. We ask you. 우리는 여러분한테 부탁드립니다. Hold your question. 질문을 좀 유보해달라. 유보가 뭐니? 잠시 좀 지금 당장 하지 말아달라. 왜? Until the end of talk. 이 대화 아마 톡쇼 같은데. 알겠나? 그럼 어떻게? The host asks the audience, 그죠? 독자 audience to hold questions until the talk is over. Paraphrase. 이렇게 하는 거야. 이런 기술들을 선생님한테 배우는 거죠. 알겠어? 네. 뭐 때문에 그래? It is 뭐 때문에? It is largely 선생님 대학교 때 배웠던 영어 표현. It largely due to time limits. 뭐죠? 시간 제약 때문에. 그 constraint가 나왔잖아. 그 글에는 같은 말이야. time limits. 그리고 아주 흔히 쓸 수 있는 쉬운 영어 표현하는 거죠. 자, 이거 볼까? The host asks the audience to hold questions until the talk is over. 알겠나? 그래서 여기다 이제 요약하는 거야. 이 전체 내용을 요약을 해보세요. 어떻게 요약할 수 있을까? 어떻게 요약할 수 있을까? This 이거 뭐야 이거? 언급 진술을 영어로 말하고 statement is probably made by a show host. Okay? And the host introduce a well-known이 뭐야? 잘 알려져 유명한 photographer, who has recently visited South America. Okay? He took lots of photos. Okay? While visiting local towns. Okay? You understand? Photographer who has just 이걸 굉장히 원래 주관대로 하면 뭐냐 이걸 빼라는 건데 얘가 넣으세요 그냥 상관없고 오케이 이거 해봐 요약해봐 시작. This statement is probably made by a show host. The host introduced a well-known photographer who has recently visited South America. He took lots of photos while traveling his town. And his photos can be found in different publications. Publications 하면 출판물. 선생님이 지금 왜 나는 그냥 일반 뭐 학원 선생님은 아니니까 영작도 많이 한 사람이다 보니까 이런 거를 바로바로 할 수 있는데 너도 그걸 배우란 말이야 쌤한테. 그렇지? 그러니까 똑같이 있는 거 그대로 쓰지 말고 어떤 습관을 가져라? 항상 패러프레이즈. 이거를 한다는 걸 선생님은 대학교 졸업할 때까지 아무도 안 가르쳤거든. 그래서 선생님은 이제 학생들한테 이걸 가르쳐 주는 거지. 항상 영어는 실력이 늘려면 코치 쓰기를 해야 된다. 알겠나? 오케이? 자, 다시 다음 표정하고 한번 해볼까요? Alright, question number 1. What was the destination of Mr. John Wilson's travel?
Destination of his travel was South America.
Okay.
He's just returned from South America.
Good. And what was he doing while traveling in the region?
He was photographing scenes of local towns.
Or, if you can rephrase him,
He was
basically taking photos of the various scenes of the local towns he was visiting. 항상 복잡하게 먼저 이렇게 그는 뭐 하고 있었고 그곳이 어디였으며 그곳은 그가 뭐 했던 곳인가. 이렇게 영어는 꼬리에 꼬리를 물고 계속 우리가 탑을 쌓아가려면 밑에서 위로 쌓잖아. 지금 어떻게? 왼쪽에서 오른쪽으로 덮어져가는 걸 선생님이 가르쳐주는 거죠. What was his occupations according to the reading passage, and what makes you think so? The reading passage says that his photography has been featured by the different publishers. Who are his clients? Newspapers, magazines, and book publishers are his clients. What is the request made about the speaker? The audience to hold questions until the talk is over. It is largely due to is largely due to가 이것은 대개 뭐뭐 때문입니다. 진짜 많이 쓰거든요. Okay, and why don't you just briefly, why don't you summarize this talk?
This statement is probably made by a show host. The host introduces a well-known photographer who has recently visited South America. He took lots of photos while visiting local towns. His photos can be found in different publications.
Okay, good.